to start off, I'm using a Umpqua U202 hook in size 12, and I'll be using fluorescent chartreuse ultra thread in 140 denier, and I have a size medium Caddis bead head on it. Start by bringing the thread on. Gonna want to run it all the way back down into the bend of the hook to about that point. Trim off your thread. Now I'm using chartreuse V-rib or in size medium for the body. I like to cut the end of it, trim the end of it so that it's pointed so it ties in a little easier. So we'll tie this in right here. Okay, now that that's tied in, we need to build up the body. I build the body up in the back of the fly more than I do the front. It tapers fat from the rear and tapers thinner toward the thorax. Reason being is this particular caddis that hatches in this stream is built that way, and I've noticed that a lot of caddis are actually built that way. They have thicker bodies. They're not real slim tapers. Takes a little bit of time here. Okay, that should do it. Put a half hitch in there. Pull your thread out of the way. Now take the vinyl rib, and you gotta want to make sure that the flat side is going down onto the body of the fly, and the round side is up. You start wrapping this on. You don't have to pull real snug on the beginning of the body, as you want it, that part of the taper, as I said earlier, to be larger. But as you start to reach the top where you're going to tie it off, you're going to want to start pulling the rib tighter and stretching it a little bit to bring that taper down tighter. But don't pull so hard as to break it, or you start all over again. Okay, now that I have that wrapped in place, bring your thread back up to it and secure the V-rib. You want to hold on to it so it doesn't try to crawl up the hook and lengthen that part of your body. Put a few wraps in behind it. And when I cut this stuff off, I like to put my scissors on there and I pull tight on the V-rib to stretch it, and then snip it, and it pulls back into the body a ways, and then come back up here. There. Now I'm gonna do a whip finish on here and remove this thread, so I'm gonna switch thread colors. Okay, and the next step here is we're going to take a brown craft marker and we're going to color the back of the fly. You don't want to do it real heavy. It will try to soak through to the threads if you get it down there too heavy. So you want it to look like that. Okay, that'll take, before you're going to take the next step, that'll take about a minute for that to set up and dry. And now we want to coat this body with UV glue, and I'm using Loon's UV glue in the thin. I'm going to put a coat over the body. What happens if you don't let that pin dry for a little bit is it will weep up through your glue, and then the color comes off. So now we use the UV light to, now we've got the UV glue cured. It should look something like this. Has a nice color to it, and the pen will actually bleed down along the ribbing where the V-rib comes together and give it a nice body effect. Now that we got that done, I tie in a kind of a cream colored CDC puff underneath the body of the fly. And I do this because when caddis first come out of their case, there are still some of that shuck is still attached to their bodies. And I found that the CDC puff really imitates that well. So to do that, I'm going to go to a 8/0 black thread to tie in this part of the body. Turn the fly upside down. And then I'll tie the CDC puff in on the bottom side. It's okay for this to extend back past the end of the body, as a lot of times you see those bits of material from the shuck will actually be trailing the body. And it doesn't have to be tied in really neat and tidy, because those fibers off that shuck kind of go all over the place anyways. Sometimes you have to spin your thread to get it to rotate the right direction so it won't slip off on you. There. Pull the material down around it and then tie it in. Then spin yourself back around. Got the loose material in. Okay. Now that you got that in, now we're going to tie in the wing buds, and I'm just using individual partridge feathers that I've trimmed the top off of them. I tie them with the thick end first to get a nice little wing bud, and I just wrap the thread, one loose wrap around it to start it, and then I pull the end of the quill back through, and then you pull that back toward yourself just a little bit, back the way you just pulled it, and it creates a little wing. You'll secure that, trim off your extra there. And then we will do the same for the other side. Rotate it into place and then pull it through a little further than you want it to be, and then you back it up. And then trim it off at your desired length. There we have two wing buds. I'm going to secure that. And trim off the extra. see we have 2 wing buds on there now. I'll finish securing those in. Now for the rest of the body, I am using Buggy Nymph dubbing that's I've mixed up some dark olive and some brown to create the thorax on this. So build yourself up some of that. It's okay to build it pretty heavy because when we get done with this, we're going to brush it out on the bottom. Go ahead and start building up your thorax. Tie it almost up to the bead, then pull your material back. Make sure that bead's tied in good at this point. There. Okay, now we tie in the horns, which are actually the antenna. Once the nymph comes out of the water, they become the antenna. And for that, I'm using 2 green pheasant tail fibers. It's okay to start them off long. I like to secure one at a time on this so I get them on the sides I want them on. Tie in the second one. Pull them up so that they're even. Right there. Now take the ends and fold them back over and tie them in. Then trim off the butt ends of them. And now what I like to do, because they don't actually stand up straight like that, I take my scissors and I kind of strip them back so it gives them the curl that they're supposed to have to them. Now take just a little bit more of the dubbing and put in front of them. Tie that in. Now you can go ahead and finish it. Trim off the thread. Now to create the legs on the fly, I like to take a dubbing brush and comb out the dubbing on the bottom to create the legs. And that will blend right in with the CDC fibers and gives it a really nice effect. And there it is. Thank you for watching.